Man, what is up, YouTube? I hope y'all's day is going a little bit better than mine. I only got a little bit time to do this video, and of course it's got to rain on me. But in today's video, we are going to be talking about my brand new / old 2017 Honda Rebel with only 43 miles on it. That's right, you heard me, 43 miles on it. We'll get more into that later. But in today's video, we will be talking about the details about the Honda Rebel 300, my journey to this bike and why I bought it, how the bike performs, who and what type of rider this bike is for, and why you should definitely never buy this bike off the showroom floor, and more importantly, most of all, of why 300s are a death trap and they should not be street legal. That's for sure. So stay tuned, we'll get into that later.
Hello, I'm Bob Ross, and I'd like to welcome you to the 20th Joy of Painting series. Son of a gun, it's hard for me to believe this is a 20th series, but it is, and I'd like to thank you very much for inviting me back for another series of painting.
Man, it is really raining out here, guys. It's really trying to rain on my day. But anyways, my journey to this Honda Rebel, I drove to Beaumont, Texas to buy it off a guy I met off Facebook Marketplace for $2,500. $2,500 is how much I bought this bike for, with only 43 miles on it when I picked it up. I had no excuse. Like, I was on Facebook Marketplace thinking, I was like, man, if I could find someone selling the Honda Rebel for $3,000, I'll get the bike. That's a good deal. And then I found someone that was selling it, and I still didn't want to buy it. I guess I just was hyping myself up and I was bored. And I told the dude, I was like, man, honestly, I changed my mind. And he was like, I said, I'll do $2,500 and I'll leave now. He said, come get it. Man, I could not say no to this. I couldn't say no. I think if I would have offered him $1,000, he would have took it. The guy was too nice. The deal was just too easy to pass up, and that is the only reason I ended up with a Honda Rebel 300. Details about the 2017 Honda Rebel 300. It is a 300cc single-cylinder, 4-stroke, 6-speed with a top speed of 107 miles an hour. Which is a lie. Hard cap on that. This bike comes into the white color, which I like. I like all the colors in these bikes. I think the only thing that separates the colors is the gas tank. That's about it, which is easy for Honda. I like all the colors. I like the blue, the black, the red, the orange. White's just so neutral. You can't go wrong with it, so I'm glad I got that. There's just not much to it. There really isn't. This one does not have the LED headlights. I don't know what year they started doing that, but everything else is the same. Why I bought this bike? Man, I've honestly always admired the Honda Rebel. I'm not sure why. I've always been into super sport bikes, and I'd be at the dealership and I'd be looking at these bikes and I'm like, man, this thing looks so comfortable. And then I saw the price tag. I was like, what? Only $5,000 for a bike? And I never really looked into 300s. I didn't even know they had 300s, and they had a 500 there, and I was always just looking on them, man. I always liked the design and just the simplicity of the bike. They always just looked like a bike that looked enjoyable to ride, just connected with to the road, just a raw bike, a bike for it just is what it is. Nothing too major about it. You get what you get and you enjoy the ride. How the bike performs. So Honda makes a very reliable engine. They're very solid. I'll take Honda over anybody's engine, definitely when it comes to lawnmowers, weed eaters, all that. These bikes are obviously great for beginners, have a low seat height, make you feel very confident when you're making turns. In the neighborhoods and in the city streets, it does great. Has great gas. Tech is all you need. You have everything there as far as tech. I'll give you a quick turn on. Everything is there as far as tech besides the gear indicator, which is a little disappointing, and I would think they would have that in there for beginner riders. But in this bike, I guess it doesn't matter too much. You can definitely tell when you need to shift gears. But it all goes downhill once you hop on the highway. Unfortunately, this thing just falls apart. It is slow. I cannot stress that enough, how slow it is. It is lightweight. You feel everything. It has no good brakes on it. These brakes are just about garbage. There's that headlight I was talking about. And it has no acceleration whatsoever. This bike is a road hazard, man. And it does not go 107 miles an hour. That is big cap. This bike barely wants to go 60 miles an hour, man. I have yet to even got it past that. I don't think I want it to. It reminds me, I used to have this Chinese dirt bike. It was a SSR 125. I'm sure some of y'all have heard of that. And I used to ride that thing around in Austin, Texas when I was younger. I was ignorant and I would get on the highways with that bike on I-35. And I was just pushing that bike to its max limit, and it was about to fall apart and blow up. And I haven't felt that feeling in a very long time until I got on this bike again. And this bike is just absolutely a hazard on the highway. You should not get this bike on the highway. But we'll get more into that later. And who is this bike for? And why would someone buy this bike? This bike is for someone who has no common sense about motorcycles at all whatsoever. If you told them to point to the hand clutch, the lever of the clutch, they would point somewhere down here or something like that. And for someone who is just completely scared of motorcycles, just terrified of motorcycles, that's who this bike's for. Or this bike is for someone who really can't afford a car, a college student or something like that, who just doesn't have the extra money but doesn't want to be riding on a moped or something like that. That's for sure. Because that's what this bike is. Within the first 10 miles of me buying this bike, I realized I bought a moped, unfortunately. And that, not unfortunately, but yes, unfortunately, actually. But don't let me get me wrong. All these things I'm saying, and I'll get to that later about all this, still a solid bike. Honda makes a great bike, and it's not its fault it's slow. It's a 300. I don't know what I expect from it, you know? Going back to the point of someone who's completely scared or terrified of riding motorcycles, which is okay, I understand that. But with that being said, should you even be riding in the first place? Not saying you shouldn't be riding a motorcycle, which is okay, you gotta learn somewhere, but should you even be in the street? Should this bike even be street legal? Like, this thing is a death trap, man. Like, if you need all this simplicity of stuff like that to get on the bike, you're just a road hazard. You're on the highway, you're just in the way. Like, and you can't even get on the highway. Who wants to buy a motorcycle and not be able to get on the highway? I know most people buy a motorcycle to go ride by themselves, to go just enjoy the road and do their own thing. But sometimes you got friends. People go riding with their friends, and you don't want the journey to end, to ride with your friends to end once you hop on the highway. And it's like, oh, my road ends here. I'm gonna turn around and go back to my neighborhood, go ride around those streets. That's like when you were little and you were playing with your older brothers and they went past the end of the street and your mom told you couldn't go that far, so you had to stay, and they went out and did big boy shit. That's what this bike, no one wants to be stuck on that. I would never advise someone to buy this bike. I would never somebody to like, hey, go buy you a Honda 300, Rebel 300. It's dangerous. The brakes are slow, the brakes are terrible. If you're on the highway cruising in a spot or anything in general and you're in the lanes and someone starts trying to merge into your lane, you don't have many options with this bike. The only thing you can do is hit the brakes, which aren't even that good. You can't accelerate out the situation. It's not like you can just gas and speed up. It's just you only can brake. And nobody can hear you. You're literally a sewing machine. People talk about bikes being a sewing machine and how quiet they are with their stock mufflers on it, but wait till you hear this. This thing's a which isn't a bad thing. If I'm gonna keep this bike, I'm definitely gonna keep the muffler on it. Why you should never buy this bike from the dealership brand new. or from the dealership in general. This bike is probably one of the most sold bikes, resold bikes ever. They're always, you can always find these on Facebook Marketplace. Like I said, I bought this for $2,500 with 43 miles on it. That's brand new. That's how pretty much far someone rides to get home from the dealership. So people are always selling these bikes, and dealerships are always taxing you. Got to pay tax, titles, man. Go out and get you a used bike, or get you a used Honda. Like I said, the engines are so solid. They don't need much maintenance. It's so simple. You don't need to pop fairings off or anything like that. It's just as simple as it gets, to be honest with you. And you can always just get a sweet deal on these. And you're going to sell it anyways. More than likely, you're gonna sell this bike. I'm definitely gonna try to hold on to it. It's for my girlfriend. I really want her to try to get her to ride it, but I don't know if that's gonna happen. And to wrap it off, what do I like about the Honda Rebel? Man, I know I've had a lot of negative things to say about this Honda Rebel, but at the end of this day, I really do enjoy riding this bike. Even though it's a 300, it is comfortable, it's enjoyable. I can relax and just enjoy the ride for it is. On my sports bike, not that I was in survival mode on it, but it wasn't like, oh, what a nice day, I can look around, look at the fields. It wasn't like that. It was more of just like, all right, let's go, we're going forward. We ain't got time to look at that stuff. On this bike, it's just raw. It's just a motorcycle. I would like to put a seat on it for a passenger, but I don't think I'm gonna keep this bike. I'm probably gonna get a 500. I would never tell somebody to go buy this bike unless you could just get a stealer deal on it like I did. The corner's great, the technology's there, it has everything you need. It's great for a beginner to learn how to ride a bike. But I don't think, if you don't know that much about a bike, you need to be riding a dirt bike or something like that, somewhere in the grass. Like, this bike is just so slow. But guys, that's it. Let me get out of here. Thank you so much for watching my video. If I miss anything, please add your comments, your questions, comments, concerns down below. I just hate when people sound like your teacher. Any questions, comments, concerns after a long ass lecture? But yeah, just let me know what y'all think about it, man. Let me know y'all's Honda Rebels. How long did y'all have y'all's Honda Rebels? Did you upgrade to a 500? Did you just not go to did you not stick with the Honda Rebels at all? Did you get a Harley? Did you get a sports bike? What did you do? Did you get a naked? Let me know y'all's opinions and life situations with this bike. Thank you for watching Juicebox Jigga. I'm out. On to the next.